Vanakkam Ramakant sir.
Vanakkam.
On behalf of Krishna Academy, I introduce Mr. Ramakant from Kolkata, who is a close friend of mine since my insurance days. I know he is rocking in insurance. He has done many in insurance, created record not only in the insurance, in mutual funds, in post, anything you name it, he is there because he is an asset allocator man. I love him from the days of so long. He is like me. He is also a law graduate, and he is also a cost and management accountant, and he is a financial advisor for almost last 33 years. He is a person who thinks that financial advisor's job is not 9 to 5, it is 24 bar 7, which I like very much from him because there is no lockdown for financial advisors. Every day is an important day. I love and I get a daily good morning message from him, which is health is wealth. Lovely health message I get. And he is not only interested in protecting his clients' wealth and also their health, which is very important. Salute to you, sir, for your wonderful job. So, man from financial planning, let us start. Sir, I would like to know from you the importance of asset allocation in financial planning at this condition now.
Well, before I answer to that question, I must thank you, Ramesh Anna, for inviting me to your channel. I'm grateful to you for inviting me to your channel, Krishna Academy. Before answering that question, I would like to answer, first of all, we should know what is asset allocation. Asset allocation does not mean uh, picking up equity funds of different asset management companies. Asset management basically means whatever surplus we have, whatever investable surplus we have, we should divide that surplus in various asset classes like equity, debt, gold, real estate, and even we must have some emergency fund with ourselves. Well, the importance of asset allocation is great. Unless and until we do asset allocation in our uh, for our investable surplus, we will not be able to achieve our goals. So there are so many benefits of asset allocation. First of all, to get optimal returns, we must asset allocate. We cannot do ad hoc investments. We have to do proper asset allocation, and that will determine how much return we can expect on our investments on the basis of what risk profile we are having. So it is a tool by which we can minimize our risks also. In the past, if you have earned a good return, you could become aggressive investor. But it can be vice versa also. If you had invested in some assets or equity funds which have not given any return to you, then you can become risk averse or conservative investor also. So proper asset allocation can help you minimize your risks. Uh, we must have a particular time horizon. Time horizon is very important because according to the time horizon only, we can determine in which asset class we can go. Suppose our time horizon is say 20 years, 30 years, then in the long run, we have seen that equity funds have given a very good return. So we can very easily go to diversified equity funds. And if we have even longer terms, say 30 years and more, we can opt for small cap funds, which have given good returns in very long terms. Uh, what else should I say? We must have adequate liquidity. We must have adequate liquidity because nowadays, last 40 days, we are at home only, no work to do. Otherwise, but we are working from home. So we can maintain our livelihood by working from home. So we have become technologically advanced, so we are working. Otherwise, think of those people. Think of people who are in the field of hotel. Think of people who are in the field of travel agency. Think of people who cannot go to office, who cannot go to factory. Lot
Correct.
of salaries cuts are there. So because of those people, they must have a adequate emergency fund at their disposal so that they can maintain at least 6 months to 8 months. Liquidity should be there in hands. And that liquidity, see, there are various places where we can maintain liquidity. We can have fixed deposit in bank. We can put money in liquid funds. We can put money in ELSS funds, which have a shorter lock-in period as compared to PPF. So better to have liquid funds and debt funds also, so that we can have some liquidity in our hands. So for just to sum up this asset allocation thing, to get adequate return should be our motto, and that will minimize the risk and taxes also, and we can have sufficient liquidity in our hands and achieve our financial goals.
Thank you, sir. You have covered asset allocation and also the emergency fund. In this condition, in the closed out condition, which when we asset allocate, also we create an emergency fund also, which is so useful at the current scenario. When you see the current scenario,
Right.
it is giving a very much helping hand for all the investors who have done their asset allocation properly, and also their emergency fund is saving them. And
Right.
I know that you are the promoter of SIP. You love SIPs. You have a big fans of SIP. You have a good clientele of SIP. Sir, in the current condition, how your clients are behaving, who have done SIP? Because if you see, some SIPs are even 5-year negative returns. So, are they forcing you, Ramakanji, let me close my SIP, or they are with you, they understand you, and they hold on, they continue, or they are increasing the SIP? What is the condition in your case right now, sir?
SIP is a tool by which we can save money or create wealth in a long period. Whenever I sell SIP, actually I don't sell. I just create the need in the minds of people so that they are bound to take an SIP. By doing small things, we can create big wealth. So that is the idea. So whenever the market falls, in my career of 33 years, I used to face these questions, lot of questions in first 10, 15 years. But nowadays, I'm not facing that much. Only from the new clients which I get, I definitely get people saying, like, as you said, please stop my SIP. The market is bad. Market conditions are not good. My valuation has fallen down. I am in SIP for last 5 years and still it is giving negative returns. It is not that people are not educated. Even some chartered accountants having a very good financial background, having a very good practice in chartered accountancy, they are even worried. There are new people. Actually, the old people, they understand. Old people who are older than 10 years or more, they understand, yes, what is the benefit. Longer the term, people understand it better. So if the tenure is only 5 years, a person who's having only 5 years SIP will say that I am suffering a loss. For 5 years, I've been investing. If I would have kept the money in fixed deposit, I would have got much more. So what do you say? Should I stop it? Should I discontinue it? Or should I redeem my money? People say like that. So it is our duty again to explain them. It is our duty to make them understand the actual essence of SIP. Once the people understand, there are very few people who understand, not all. Even, but the old ones are okay. They are saying they are very happy that the market has fallen. They know that the market will recover and their SIP will be giving a very good returns in future because they have seen it in the past. So this is the idea. So I'm also similarly facing such questions, no doubt, but only from the new investors. The old ones are okay. They are saying it's okay. I know I don't need the money now. My goal is another 5 years or 6 years away. My goal is 10 year, 15 year away. So I need not bother. I'm accumulating more number of units at less number of price. So that way it is okay.
That's very good. And for your clients, how frequently you reallocate the assets from one category to the other category. Let us suppose rebalancing. We call it rebalancing in this thing, financial planning. How frequently you do that from equity? See, when equity market has given 30%, 40% return, whether you move from equity to debt or debt to equity, how frequently you do this churn to your investors, sir?
Well, as I said, most of my investors are SIP investors. SIP is done in mostly equity funds. But for paying some insurance premiums, suppose a person who's got to pay premium, say 10 lakh rupees in a year. So I've done an SIP of say 80,000 or 1 lakh rupees per month. That is done in a debt fund, so that after 1 year, he will take out that money and pay the insurance premium.
Correct.
Or that money is done in money manager. That investment is done in money manager or some debt fund or liquid fund also. So my debt portion is only to that extent. Otherwise, 100% investments are done in equity, because I consider equity as a wealth generation tool for longer term. It has to be at least 10 years and more, not less than 10 years. If it is more than 20 years, then people will be just they will be happy like anything that they have created so much wealth. How could they get so much return? They become astonished. Even I am an SIP investor for more than 20 years now, and I am getting a return of not less than 20-21%. So we have to stay that long, never redeem. Even the markets are up, never redeem. I never redeem equity SIPs. I ask people, don't take out money, but the day you need money, definitely you should redeem.
Correct.
If you need money, redeem. If you don't need, don't redeem. Let the fund continue till your retirement. Even on retirement, if you don't want, don't redeem. Let it continue. Suppose your SIP is completed at the age of 60. Don't take out the money at 60 because you don't need it. Suppose you have got a corpus of 5 crores at that time, and you need only 10,000 rupees to take out 10,000. You need 50,000. You take out 50,000. Suppose you need 5 lakhs.
Agreed.
You take out 5 lakhs. Don't take out the money. Let the money be there. It will grow like anything.
Only the need you take.
Only on the need you take out money. Otherwise, don't. I do SWP also from that fund. Suppose they want to get the retirement benefit, retirement money should come every month after month. So SWP can be done from those funds. So according to need, how much you need for the family expenses. Suppose somebody says 47,000 is the need. So you take out 47,000. Month after month, 47,000 will be credited to your bank account. But in the middle, if you want 5,000 extra, you are at liberty to take it out.
Correct.
So this is the way.
Excellent. Excellent, sir. Excellent.
So I generally don't rebalance the portfolios. No need.
Okay.
According to their need, according to the time horizon, according to the risk appetite, I give them the fund and stay invested like that.
Okay. Okay. And as far as now I am coming to your business personal. See, business personal is, what is the software you use which made you so successful today? What is the, because if you need peace of mind and if you need to help your client with their portfolio, etc., anything, you need to have a very good backbone, which is the fantastic software. What is the software you use for your clients' needs?
The software which I am using at present is Omni Financial Advisor. It's OFA.
OFA. Okay. Okay.
I'm using OFA, and I've given the liberty to my clients to use OFA whenever they want to invest. Suppose they lump sum, they have got some lump sum.
Okay.
They can invest through OFA. Whenever they want to redeem, they can do it from OFA. For transaction purpose, they need not call me. Only if they want my advice, they should call me, and then I can suggest the funds. I can initiate transaction for them, or they can do it from OFA directly.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm using OFA so that my back office work is done by them only. My clients are doing the back office for themselves. Everything is online.
So your digital and back office both OFA.
Yeah.
Okay. OFA will connect you to BSE platform or NSE platform or MFU.
I am with all the three.
Ah.
NSE, some clients in NSE, some clients in BSE, but NSE and BSE are connected with OFA. MFU is not connected with OFA.
Okay.
It has to be done separately.
Okay.
So mostly clients are connected with BSE and NSE.
Okay, BSE and NSE, very good. What percentage of your client use digital platform? That is, how much percentage you have digitally? Now, of course, 100% because of lockdown. But before lockdown, what was the percentage of clients who were using online and how much offline? Because there are certain people, especially the technologically so sound people, they will say, I would prefer offline. I don't want online because they know the disadvantages there. So how many percentage of your clients, roughly you can say, I don't want exactly, you have online? Is it 100% or certain percentage?
No, it is our duty to make our clients digital. And for last 5 years, I have been trying to make them digital. Lot of people, they don't have online banking facility. So I asked them to take online banking. Online banking is very important these days. Otherwise, we cannot survive. So this practice has been continuing for last 5 years. And not only that, phone banking is also important. Suppose you are going somewhere, you are traveling somewhere, you don't have a laptop with you. How will you come? How will you transact? So must have a phone banking also. So these I have been doing for last 5 years. So till now, I have not achieved 100%, but by 2020 end, I will be 100% only on digital, no offline thing. Previously, what you used to, you write the forms, write the checks, go to different AMCs and deposit,
Correct.
go to RTA office and deposit. Those things are gone. Those days are gone. There were people at that time, they want a photocopy of the form also. There were people, but I never gave photocopies. I said, no, not required. So in my life, I never made photocopies. But there are people who want to keep in file. I said, why do you want to keep that? Once you get the statement, everything is okay. So, but still they want the signature has to be. So you keep a note of your signature yourself. Don't keep so many papers. So, but now I have seen almost 50% are there on. But now without digital, I'm not going to work. This I have made a promise to myself. No form filling, nothing. Only digital work has to be done because people now understand the importance of being digital.
Thank you very much, sir. And one more before we end, I would like to hear from you. What is your 33? You have put a very big experience of 33 years. With this experience of 33 years, what you want to guide your fellow IFAs like us? What we should do, what we should not do.
Whatever we are doing, we will do. We have to, first of all, become digital 100%. First and foremost thing, we have to become digital. We have to learn a lot of things. Even today, I am learning a lot. So many, this is a good time to learn actually. Another lockdown, third free has started today. So lot of things to learn. Lot of webinars are going on. We can join any meeting throughout India.
Correct.
So we can learn from fellow distributors, and fellow distributors can call, they can WhatsApp, connect on social media and get the service, get the knowledge out of it. So this is the first and foremost thing what I need to ask my fellow distributors. Whenever I'm addressing a meeting of distributors, even in Kolkata or somewhere else, wherever I go, I definitely tell them to first become digital. Another thing, one drawback in our community is,
yes, sir.
Nothing against anybody. Bengali people say you speak in Bengali. I can speak, no doubt, but everyone should understand English and Hindi. These two languages has to be learnt by. Even today, I cannot speak fluently Tamil, but I can understand some words. At least I am in the process of learning. So we must understand some regional languages also.
Even I know
it will
little
add
Bengali,
it will
sir.
add value.
Sir,
Yeah.
in fact, I know also little Bengali. I know the only
Okay,
word namak kotai.
That's good. That's good.
Good, sir. Good. And I would love to hear a secret from you before that. This will be my last question. I would love to hear a secret from you. See, you say that you are 33 years experienced person, but you look like 33-year-old man only for me. How is that possible? Right?
I don't know. I am actually 57.
You look like 33-year-old man now. Very good. Very
Thank you
much
so much.
thankful to you, sir. On behalf of Krishnu Academy, I thank you for being part of this day and sharing your knowledge with all your fellow advisors today. I once again thank you. Nandri, Nandri, Nandri.
Nandri Ramesh Anna. Nandri.